Cheers!
Welcome to Movie Bitches,
episode 31.
Woohoo!
So, we've been very excited for this review.
Just waiting for it.
We've been waiting for this. It's the new Nicolas Sparks movie called The Best of Me. Took me a minute.
Well, once again, you can always tell when it's a Nicolas Sparks movie because the poster is identical.
Oh my god, yes.
The poster is their two faces, either just their foreheads touching or they're maybe gonna kiss.
Yeah.
And then there's maybe like a lake or a boat or rain or something that's wet around them. And then that's it.
Yeah. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's just things about Nicolas Sparks movies that drive me crazy.
Like?
Well, the whole time, you can just see, these scenes, they'll set up, even, the intro, right?
Yeah.
They set it up, ooh, we're on an oil rig in, the ocean, and I'm like, well, something's fucking gonna go wrong.
But, I don't know, that's why I watch them. I'm not watching them because they're actually romantic. Excluding The Notebook, which is, its own thing. At this point, it doesn't even count.
Right.
All the other ones, I go to see them to guess what horrific thing will happen next.
Yes.
And then, watch people make out.
Yeah.
On porch swings.
I mean, there was some good romantic development in this one.
I mean, this movie really should have been called Pregnant Pauses because I was like, what? I'm watching The Walking Dead? What is going on? They'd be like, hey.
Yeah.
What's up? I like you. I like you too. Let's stare at each other. I mean, it was just...
Yeah.
And that was the dialogue. That was another thing. Okay, so they have a love montage when they're young.
Yeah.
And then instead of intercutting that with them having a similar love montage when they're older, they're two totally separate scenes.
Right.
Which are boring.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I already watched them jump into the lake.
Well, and what was annoying to me, I think what annoyed me the most, actually, was that it was really the same, with the older actors.
It was exactly the same. So that's why I was like, oh, if you intercut it, okay, they're reliving, okay, it goes by, it's a montage, I'm okay with it. But it was literally two different scenes where I was like, this is why this movie's 2 hours.
Yeah, I've already seen this.
James Marsden is presented as this, angelic, perfect, rugged, I'm wearing a...
Which is, a first for him.
Yeah. Well, I was very shocked because, for me, James Marsden is the guy in romantic comedies you don't want the girl to end up with. So, in The Notebook, he plays her fiance, who you're she's supposed to be with Ryan Gosling. Get out of here, James Marsden. You're cute, but you're not the one. And so that was my experience of him. And there's a bunch of movies where he's that guy where you're like, no, you're the other guy. Go be with her best friend at the very end in the last shot of the movie. I'm sick of this.
I thought that James Marsden looked emaciated.
He did look a little gaunt.
Right? His cheeks, everything was I mean, part of it was just his facial hair, the way that it was structured.
It was really defined.
It was. It was
very
young Heath Ledger looking Dawson sneaks into this garage. He opens up this garage, and there's these manifolds, and he's just
old-timey fans.
Old-timey,
He went back to the 40s.
And it was just where men were men. They worked on cars.
And they stayed with their wives for life. It's very all right.
I kind of found it weird that it was set in 1992, to be honest.
It was very weird.
I was like...
Well, because nothing indicated that it was set in 92 except for two songs and the title card that said 1992.
I mean, that's true. And I guess maybe that's
at all. Even her hair. Nothing. There was not one pair of Doc Martens. I don't understand. She is in no way dressed for the 90s. And then the father, the white trash guys, are dressed like 1930s moonshiners.
Yeah.
For no reason. Because people dressed like that in the 90s.
But also, aside from some scenery shit, I didn't even know they were in Louisiana. So,
oh no.
At least if you're gonna give me bad 90s, be like, oh, well, it's bad 90s because they're in Louisiana, so it's really 1986 still.
Right.
Give me something like that.
If you had taken frames from this movie and said, what decade do you think this is, people would absolutely say present day.
Yeah. They all looked like they were in some J. Crew ad. I am so frustrated that all that we have by way of romantic movies these days is this shit. And vampire loving teenage crap.
But that's even over.
That's even over. But there's still Well,
it's love triangle between maybe one human and two non-human vehicles that maybe were old monster movies.
Exactly.
Or something.
It's either like a young adult novel for like, you know, these tween girls.
Or like a middle-aged housewife's fantasy.
Yeah.
There's not like a real in-between.
Or fantasy that like went wrong and is overly dramatic and then like, you know, everyone dies.
Right, melodrama.
Exactly.
Like that, yeah.
Like where's just like a fucking rom-com? Yeah. God damn it.
That doesn't just totally suck.
Right? But hey, even if it sucks, I haven't seen one.
That's true.
For years.
That's true. Even just like an okay one. I would say it's fine. It's not as good as The Notebook. It's not as terrible as Safe Haven. Although I found Safe Haven more entertaining.
Safe Haven was definitely more entertaining. Like, I would say it's not as terrible as shit in Rodanthe.
Yes, or The Lucky Ones, or Dear John was way worse, actually. I mean, if you like Nicolas Sparks, if you like romantic
I would totally watch this movie at home to watch.
I mean, if anything, James Marsden wears a lot of like Henleys and does gardening work while getting sweaty and then takes his shirt off.